Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Minding My Mind to a Healthier Me podcast under the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. I am Sister Anisa Muhammad. Let me put myself up there. I am Anisa Muhammad, your host for this evening. And we have as a special guest, Brother Dr. Akili Muhammad, a brother that I have known for several years, and I admire his work so very much. Say hello, Brother Akili.
Hello to the audience. Greetings, peace to all of you. I pray we have a wonderful evening of
All
knowledge and
praises,
sharing.
all praises be to Allah. Before we get into our show, I want to just share with you a little bit about Brother Dr. Akili's background. Dr. Akili Muhammad, affectionately known as Dr. Akili, attended Prairie View A&M University and Meharry Medical College. He completed residency at the University of Texas at Houston. Dr. Akili practiced in a federally funded health facility in Houston prior to opening his own private practice in 2003. Being traditionally trained in allopathic Western medicine, he has concluded that a medical society with the best technologies, the most doctors, medications, and medical facilities is not producing adequate solutions to restore and heal the body. As such, Dr. Akili now studies alternative therapies designed to provide a holistic approach to restoring the body through nutrition and alternative modalities. Evaluating the whole body is what is needed in holistic health. Recognizing this need and the lack of information available to society, Dr. Akili began offering a series of how to seminars designed to educate and improve mental, emotional, and physical health. He actively educates society by posting on social media and speaking at schools, religious, and community organizations. Dr. Akili continues to take time out of his schedule to address restoring your health in your kitchen and lifestyle, for he believes that prevention is worth much more than a doctor bill. And I can say amen, amen to that, sir, considering the high cost
Yes.
of medicine. Brothers and sisters, I want to share with you a little bit about my history with working with Brother Akili. I really, truly admire his work. I truly admire and love his work ethic. He and I are of a kindred spirit in that we believe that a more holistic approach to the restoring the health for our communities is necessary, and it has to be done through proper food and nutrition. And that is as taught to us by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have worked at the Nation of Islam large events. We were both worked together on the National Physician Task Force during COVID for the Nation of Islam. So we have a history. We love each other's work. And I asked him to be on this podcast this evening because of a large concern in our communities with regard to the health of our brothers, the men's health issue. And it is so difficult, Brother Akili, to even get brothers to attend an event that's specifically for them and their health.
Yes.
So, what I'm about to read to you and to the listening audience is really a compilation of the cries that I've heard working with patients and working in the healthcare field for over 20 years. And this is a cry from women about their health of their husbands, their boyfriends, their sons, their nephews. And they repeat cycles of madness from the choices that they make regarding their health and their lifestyles. Um, I'm not going to read the different types of medical conditions, but I'm quite sure that you're going to hit on many of them in this discussion that we're going to have. This particular platform right now, this minute, is not aimed at any particular ethnic group, no particular culture, no particular religious group. All women are experiencing in some way, shape, form, or fashion the same anguish all over the country in all communities.
That's
and
right.
attempts to help the oh, I can't even read that. I forgot I wrote that, so I'm not going to read that. But I learned that expression is very common. So here we go. I'm going to read this letter. Dear Black man, babe, you know I love you so very much, but right now I'm so tired. I'm so weary of crying, of carrying a load that really isn't mine. Here you are once again being admitted into the hospital. Why? Because you are so stubborn. You won't eat like you know you're supposed to. You won't take your medicine. You complain that I'm nagging you, but in your heart, you know that I want the best for you. I just wish that you loved yourself as much as I love you. Why won't you allow me to be the helpmeet to you the way that God created me to be? I am so scared right now. I'm scared that you may not regain consciousness. I'm scared you may die. I'm scared our children will lose their father. I pray and I pray and I pray and I pray. And I sometimes wonder if God even hears me because we keep ending up here in this place. Many times I have thought about walking out on you, thought about leaving you, but my heart tells me to stay and not leave you alone. But if you die, you're leaving me alone. So where's the justice in that? I'm so afraid right now. The mortgage is due next week and we going to be short again because I have to take off work to watch over you. I'm not complaining about that, not really, but that's our reality. Oh God, please hear me. Please don't let my man die. We don't have life insurance for him. He stopped making payments on that policy a long time ago, and I just found out about that a couple of days ago. We don't have any money to bury him. Oh Lord, please hear my cry. This is his second stroke. What if he don't make it this time? What if he has to go into one of those places, one of those rehab centers or nursing homes? He said he was sick of me nagging him, God. So Lord, what will we do? Lord, please help me. I don't know what else to do. Please help me to help him find you, if that's even possible. I pray that to my Lord and Savior. Amen. Brother Akili, those are the cries that I hear from women that come to me and cry to me, not knowing what to do to help the men in their lives. And this is a compilation, is something that came off my fingertips while I was typing, but it's very, very real, and it's a reality in our community. Whether you Black, whether you consider yourself Latino, whether you consider yourself white, this is real. This is very real. And so I asked you to come on the show because they say that steel sharpens steel. And I'm hoping that the men that are listening to this are actually hearing me and hearing you to this evening with regard to the pain that we feel when our brothers get sick and they have to get their limbs amputated, or they end up not being able to function and move around the way that they used to because their knees are shot, because they've suffered a stroke and they've lost sensation on one side of the body or the other, or maybe both. How would you speak to one of your patients that are male? Of course, don't disclose any names. I'm just at my wit's end, dear brother, to be honest with you. At my wit's end.
This is one monstrous task. So I'm going to ask that everybody on this call tonight be patient with me, because this is going to bring out a passion in me, because this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to go in medicine, was to help our people. And I have zero guilt or zero embarrassment or anything negative about saying that my practice of medicine is for Black people first. Anybody that walks in my office is welcome, but I wanted to be a doctor to help my people because we are suffering more at higher rates, growing rates, and we're suffering and dying faster than most people in the world. So I ask Allah to guide my heart, guide my mind, guide my mouth this evening because the statement steel sharpens steel lends to the idea that they're two hard pieces of steel because steel doesn't sharpen aluminum and steel doesn't sharpen things that are much weaker and lesser in strength to steel. It will tear or break those things apart. And so, that that letter that you just read, you sent me earlier today, and I read it a few times, and it really had me in a very sad place because, one thing that I've learned by following the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he does it so well, is he always tries to put himself in another person's shoes. He will never, in my experience with him, he will never start talking at or to a person without trying to put himself in that person's shoes, like the statement from our native brothers and sisters: walk in a man's shoes before you ever judge him, or
Yes.
walk a mile in another man's moccasins before you have anything to say from a judgmental perspective. And I have not walked in the shoes of a man who is sick and headed towards death, but I have walked by side many of those wives that I've worked with over the years where their husbands were so selfish that they didn't care about anybody but their damn self. And I have to start there. And again, I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but for a man to not take care of himself, to eat any way he wants to drink any way he wants to, not drink water, because when I say drink, I'm talking about alcohol, running after women, not getting enough sleep, not doing the things that he know he should be doing, not doing the things that people have tried to cajole him to do. And then you wind up in a state where your wife has to take care of you like another child. And you burden that woman. I'm watching it happen right now in my reality as a physician. I'm watching men burden their wives until they are being beat down to damn near nothing. And I don't even see how many of these people that I'm working with, I don't even see how their wife is going to be any good by the time he dies. She's going to be so worn out and so destroyed, her life is probably close to over.
Mm.
And so I
Wow.
come in here tonight to try to ask my brothers to step up because there will be no new black society without the black man. There'll be no example for our young brothers if our men don't decide to do something different and give them something to look up to. Because looking at your father, your uncle, or the mentor in the community walking on a cane at 50 isn't anything to want to live like. You got black men having third and fourth strokes by the time they're 50 and 60. I watch some of the people that I went to college with on Facebook showing their journey. It's a sad reality. It's a sad reality that a woman has to paint that picture. And I've watched it happen, and I am watching it happen. And to me, the black man that doesn't put in the effort, it's selfish for you to wind up that way and burden your family like that. For your children to see that you didn't leave anything for them. Don't own a house, still paying on the house. Don't have a burial fund, so you don't have life insurance. And we're going to leave those burdens on our family because we didn't do what it took to maintain our health. And please don't believe that your brother that you're listening to doesn't have that same burden. I'm the only black man in my family on both sides that's not sick. I'm 57 years young. There ain't nobody in my family, even the ones younger than me, are sick. So it's a
Mm.
responsibility that I put on my shoulders, and I work hard at it every day. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to strive my best to be as close to perfect as possible because that's what I have to be. That's what was laid out for me, those that I follow. And so at the end of the day, we don't have time in our sojourn in America. Brother Nuri, on many occasions, has said that most people don't realize that black men outnumber black women at birth. There are more boys born into this world than women. But as many of us that are being lost to this op war, right, where we're killing the op that looks just like us all
Hmm.
over the country. I mean, it's all over the world now, but I'm talking about America right now, where it's this set against that set, this color against that color, this neighborhood, this against each other. What type of example are we as black men going to set for our young brothers? They're not going to get out of this by themselves. This is a reality that we as black men have to show our young brothers love. Ain't nobody loved them. Quick story. I was out in the community 2 weeks ago. This young 15-year-old boy walked out, no shirt on. I mean, immediately I saw the gun and I knew what life he was living. So I stopped him. I talked to him for a few minutes. And after we talked for a few minutes, I just grabbed him. I pulled him close to me and I hugged him. And when I let go of him, the tears were just coming out of his eyes. And I asked him, I said, man, is your father in your life? No, man, I ain't see my father. I don't even remember the last time I saw him. I said, when was the last time a man hugged you? When was the last time you got some love from a man? And he started crying again. I don't even remember ever getting no love like that. And he was embarrassed to let me see him like that. And so I hear a lot of older black men say that their music is trash and they walking with their pants down and these niggas this and these little niggas that. They need love. They don't need you talking strong. They don't need you talking at them. They need love. They're doing what they're doing because the only place that they find love is with the homies that got the sticks. And for those of you who don't know, sticks are guns and that are making money and whatever they making. These young boys sometimes haven't eaten all week. These boys, 14, 13, 11, 15, are responsible for feeding their own brothers and sisters because their mamas is gone all the time, either in some dysfunctional way or just working all the damn time just to keep the bills going. So imagine that we have a large percentage of our young men being raised in that type of environment, but the ones who have a father or the ones who have a mentor are watching their mentor not care about life. It's almost like it's a planned suicide. You're not going to do it quickly. You ain't going to get it over with, but it's a planned suicide in that you're not going to do nothing to get your life right. You're not going to drink no water. You're not going to exercise at all. You're not going to put away the bad food just enough so you can live a little longer. Your taste buds are going to ruin you. Your taste buds are in control of you. I know I'm talking in a strong way, but that's what I came to do.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that because that is a reality. I know of I've received a call from one of my daughters a little over a year ago, and she said, Mom, I'm sending the girls over there. This is an emergency. And she told me that my son in law called her from work and he had to be taken to the emergency room and he had to have an emergency brain surgery done because he had an aneurysm that was about to burst. And he's under 50. He's not even 40. I know that he works hard. There's a lot of stress and burden on his shoulders, but he's a good father. And because my daughter is very highly intelligent, very analytical, she did not leave that hospital at all, because she knew what they were supposed, because of course she grew up around me. She knew what they were supposed to do, how they were supposed to do it, and she checked them when they didn't. And it is because of what she did and stayed by him that he was able to recover. Now the backdrop is that he told me himself how grateful that he was, because he said before he met her, he did not care. He just ate what was available. She tried for years to get him to eat the right kind of food. And it was just up until like maybe right before he had that surgery that he started being a little bit more pliable to eating the right types of food, because she not in the mosque, but she at MGT. You understand what I'm saying? Because she did an excellent job. But suppose that it happened to to some, fictitiously to Shanae, and they never would have been able. She would not have known what to do. And
Yeah,
there's
but
a
you
lot of
know,
there.
I
I
see.
mean, because he ate pizzas and macaroni and
Yeah.
cheese, different things, all the wrong foods, too much of the wrong food. But now that his health is back on point, the weight that he's lost, and how he he demonstrates his gratitude for her saving his life, because that's what she did. Of course, Allah, God, actually was the entity that saved his life,
That's right.
but he worked through her, and that's why he's still living and walking today.
Well, that's a beautiful story. That's a wonderful story, and thank Allah for that. At the same time, I say that I challenge every black man that's listening to consider looking at your family and ask yourself who has been a good example of maintaining good health. Because it would be sad for us to consider that every black man is going to have that type of life challenging occurrence happen before you want to change. I mean, I'm just being honest with you all. By the time I finished high school, I mean, there literally was nobody in my family, no man that was a mentor of mine that my father had circled me with as a young man coming up, that I looked at and was like, well, that's a good example to me for health. My dad was to some degree, but once I joined the nation and started reading How to Eat to Live, it put everything in perspective. And because I had to challenge what I was doing. When I started reading How to Eat to Live as a physician, I was eating 5 meals a day. I
Fine.
knew I was heavier, 5 meals a day. That's what we were teaching people. So I believed in it. You know what I mean? When I became a physician, I believed in what it was that I was taught. Most of it was propaganda, but I believed in it. I was walking, and I believe I always have walked what I believed. But the first time I tried eating one meal, the the example that I got was so extremely, like, I mean, a huge slap in the face. I was eating 5 meals a day, right? I used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I would work out 6 o'clock to about 7:15, come home, take my shower, and drive to the office. The first time I tried to eat one meal, oh, well, let me go back. When I was eating 5 meals a day, I would do my workout. I would come back to the house and I would feel like I was about to faint. Every day, I had to walk in for my workout and either drink some juice or eat something in order not to fall down. When I ate one meal a day, it stopped. And I tried to eat one meal. I think it was maybe a week or so. So it had extreme changes in the way my body was functioning immediately. And that's when I started questioning everything. I was like, damn, I'm doing this and I'm getting these type of results, and now I'm trying this and it's giving me something totally different. And so, but that's the challenge that I'm asking any black man that's listening, or any man period that's listening, is look at your family and are you satisfied with the example that you have in front of you? So if you continue to eat the way your family has made a culture of your eating habits, or if your mother or your father does the cooking, or it's the family traditions that are passing down, and you're watching your parents get ill faster than your grandparents got ill, and now you're getting ill faster than your parents got ill, then what is it that is not making us know something has to change? The reality of your health is based on what you eat, how much water you drink, the exercise and the sleep that you get. I know nobody knows, there's nobody that I think with a reasonable mind that would say smoking a cigarette is going to give me longer life. Drinking alcohol is going to give me a longer life. Partying all night is going to give me a long. Nobody thinks that. So we know that there are some things we should be doing. We automatically already know that. Nobody has to come and tell us that. The question is, why are you not doing it? Why are you not putting in that effort? And I do know that many black men are like your son-in-law, your son in love that you described, working so hard, a lot of pressures on them, bills, family, whatever the case may be. I understand that, but I don't know anybody that don't have some time. And I'm here to challenge all of you brothers that may be dealing with a medical problem. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the book How to Eat to Live trumped everything I read in college, medical school, and afterwards. I'm telling you, if you need a book or you want a book that's going to help you go in the right direction, get How to Eat to Live from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Don't get caught up in whatever your mind is thinking about some of the things he says. Follow what he's telling you to do as far as eating and see if it doesn't change your life. Just as a first one, or reach out to me if you need to, and I can help you with it. But here's the point that I'm getting to. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that fasting is a cure for 90% of our ill.
Come on, that's right.
So rather than eat something horrible, just don't eat. Just try it once. Try it for a half a day. Instead of getting up and eating breakfast every day, try skipping breakfast. And then when you get strong enough, try skipping breakfast and lunch and see if it doesn't do something for you. And if it does something for you, then you have to get serious about doing something different. And I'm here to tell you that as a man that has been striving to eat one meal every other day now since 2015, you will be blown away what skipping some meals will do for you. It will help you with your stress. It'll save you some money. It's going to help you lose some weight, but it's going to get your focus right. It's going to get your stamina back. It will improve your energy. It will improve the clarity of your mind. And if you add prayer, you will literally wake up in the morning and some of your problems, the solution will have come to you while you were sleeping. I'm not talking crazy. I'm telling you what my actual reality with eating better, cleaning up my life, detoxifying some of the garbage that I used to eat, and putting prayer in my life. It's amazing how many of your own problems you will solve, whether you believe that's God that gave you the answer or just clarified your mind so that you could use it better. That's just a place that maybe some of us can start and just say, let me see about doing something different.
Wow. That's a heck of a testimony, Brother Akili. It truly, truly is. And I think that in the 20 or so odd years of experience that I've had, what you said about looking at what your grandparents and your parents had eaten or had gotten accustomed to, it brought two things to mind. The fallacy that doctors actually are putting out there saying that type 2 diabetes is hereditary. I've never believed that, because for the most part people get type 2 diabetes not because it's in the family genetic bloodline. It's there because y'all keep eating the same food generation after generation. after generation. And now we live in a supersized me generation, which only compounds the issue. And
If you don't mind, can I say
I'll
something to that?
go right ahead, dear brother.
My family on my father's side is from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
My father asked me to go to the family reunion. It was about 15, 16 years ago. When I went to my family reunion and sat around and talked, and I'd met a few of them, and I hadn't seen some of them since I was a little boy, but they were interested in me talking to them about what they could do with their health. At that time, my family on my father's side, all of them except a couple who lived in New Orleans, were diabetics. 100% of the family was diabetic.
Wow.
My family in their 40s were already blind, already on dialysis, already had lost their sight, already had started getting pieces of their bodies cut off because of diabetes. That's
Wow.
how bad the diabetes was in my father's side of the family. If it was a hereditary, how am I sitting in front of you at 57 years young and I have no medical problems? Many people in my family have diabetes. Most people in my family have diabetes. I'm the only one that eats the way that I do. I'm the one that everybody says is strange. I'm the one that everybody gets angry at because when I come and stay at your house, me and my wife going grocery shopping. I don't give a damn if you get mad at me. Look at the reality of what you're looking at. This man changed everything he did and does. He doesn't do the things traditionally like the family does. He's the only one that's not sick. At some point, we as black people got to start looking at the reality around us and realizing that if we do something different, we're going to get different results. So I just
What
wanted
kind
to
of
tell
food
that
was being
testimony since
served
you
at
were
the
talking
family
about
reunion?
diabetes, my sister, because should nobody come out of this program tonight thinking that a medical problem that runs in your family is hereditary. No, it's dang sure 1000% tied to your activity that you do every day, your social customs that you got from your family, and you continue to go down that same road. Well, if people tell me, hey, Brother Keith, you know that road down there, man, it's going to fall off a damn cliff and you're going to run off the edge of that road. I ain't going down that road.
Come on.
Chuck y'all the deuce.
What kind of sumptuous dishes did they have at your family reunion when you went?
I mean, they had all the. I mean, they were cooking pork. I wasn't in the nation at that time, but they had a whole lot of pork. I ain't never ate pork in my life, meaningfully. A lot of chicken, a lot of shrimp. They had all the gumbo, all the famous Louisiana gumbo. So I mean, it was everything, and that's what I sat there. I mean, they probably never invited me back because I sat and told them. I said, "Hell, the way y'all eat is the reason why you got diabetes. It ain't hereditary. Look at your. I forget my sister, my father's sister, my aunt was there, but everybody else is like cousins and nephews, nieces to my
Mm.
father. So I never really actually sat around and talked about how they were related to me. But that was my point. It was like, here's my father. He older than most of y'all. He's one of the oldest in the family. He doesn't have diabetes. How in the hell can y'all continue to have people tell you it's hereditary? I think I was in my 30s at that time. I didn't have it. My brother was a little younger. He was 3 years younger than me. He didn't have it. So that was my point to them. I was like, you have an example right here. All of us are sitting right in front of you, standing right in front of you, showing you that it can't be hereditary. How could we solve it if it was hereditary? So,
Well, that's definitely one of the fallacies that they are, I'm going to say, spreading, for lack of a better word,
absolutely.
to our people in our community. And they actually, because I believe that because it fits their drama, that they're going to go along with that because it makes it easier for them not to want to change. Um, I remember having a patient of mine at the age of 27 years. He was on dialysis, not because he had a hereditary issue with his kidneys. It was because he had what they call uncontrolled diabetes. Was he homeless? No. Did he have a mental health problem? No. He just ate all his life, he ate the wrong food. And to our mothers that are on this line, or people that have children, be mindful of what you're feeding your children. All these sugary drinks, the cereal that you think is healthy for them, that's full of dyes and additives and preservatives and floured dust off the bottom of a vat, fortified with synthetic vitamins, calcium, and other minerals that can be unidentified. And you feeding them constantly the wrong food, and because you think you researched it or you think you read the nutrition label in the right way, that's something that's good for you. The same people that lie to us about everything is lying to you about the stuff that's on that label. I'm here to tell you, anytime, because they don't even test children for diabetes when they should be tested for it. They see children that are 8, 9, and 10 going into the clinics that are obese already, and they should be tested for type 2 diabetes at that time, but they don't. They wait until they're 15, 16 years old, and it's going to be more and more difficult. How about organ failure happening to a small child that's under 10 years old? Because the mother did not know that her child was diabetic. The doctors never checked him, and she really thought that she was feeding him in the proper way. And yet they wanted to charge her with neglect because her child's organs were failing. That was one heck of a fight for that lady.
That's for sure.
And it was a blessing that she won, because it really wasn't her fault. She really thought she was feeding her child the right thing, because that's what they sell in the stores. That's what they advertise on commercials. It's very difficult it's not impossible, but it's very difficult for a person. The minister says in Study Guide 18, Rising Above Emotions into the Thinking of God, that when you disrupt or upset a person's belief system, the floodgates of emotion comes over them. And when a person gets emotional, they don't think clearly.
That's right.
And because you're trying to get them to do something that they believe is right, and you're telling them after all these years, I've been doing the wrong thing, how can this be? They're going to buck you. They're going to fight you. And I know that that's something that you get, I ran into it a lot working in PCMH, Brother Akili. I really, really did. And I remember a nurse practitioner told me that one of our mutual patients was very combative. And I don't know what to do. He just doesn't trust me. And I said, okay. And I brought her a book by Harriet Washington called Medical Apartheid. And I told her, read this book, and then you'll understand why he's the way that he is. You're going to have to abandon everything that you think you know and everything that they taught you in school, and just let me deal with my patient, and I guarantee you that he'll get better. And he did. She gave me back the book, but I went into her office about a week or two later, and she had that book on her desk. I don't know if it helped her.
If she read it, it did. It had to. Made a major change in my life.
Huh?
I said if she read it, it had to, because it made a major change in my life.
Yes.
There were racist things that I went through in my residency program that of course, I didn't think that most black people were going through it. But when I read that book, I was like, wow, it didn't really cross my mind as I was training to be a physician that racism would be as bad in the hospital and the medical field as it was out there dealing with the police and dealing with some of them crazy people out there in the streets. But it is, and it was. And the thing that I think affects me the most, my sister, is what if that young boy could express himself? The ones whose mother didn't know what she was doing and he wound up in kidney failure. And the likelihood is because they'll probably stick with traditional doctors, he's going to die a very young death because being in kidney failure as a child is very unlikely that you'll make it into adulthood for very long. That's the statistics. But along with that is every man that is listening to us, and even the ones that are not, but those of you who are listening to us, the end of the road is not going to be good. The end of the road is going to be much worse than every and any benefit or pleasure that you got with your tongue. It ain't going to be worth it. I've been in this field 30 years. This is my 30th year in the medical field. I started practicing medicine January of 1995 in Nashville. I graduated in December, and a doctor let me start working in his office in December of 1995. I'm sorry, it was 1996. And after about 2 weeks in his practice, he felt comfortable enough to let me come there every day and run his practice. If I needed him, I would call him. He would come in. I would be there like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, start working and doing things. And he would come in a little later in the day. Or if I needed him, I would call him. So I've been seeing the reality that I'm talking to you guys about for 30 years. And every person that did not take care of themselves, the end of their life was pure hell. Whether you have to go to dialysis 3 times a week, or whether you have no physical ability to do anything that you want, there's no enjoyment in life. You feel sick when you don't take your medicines. You feel sick when you take your medication. You feel sick when you sit down. You feel sick when you stand up.
Mm.
So imagine that. And I'm telling you, for many years in my career, I did home visits. So I would go see people in their homes that couldn't walk anymore. What is it like when you stop having the ability to walk and you started getting bed sores? What is it like to have seen all of your life and lose your vision? I had a man, this was probably the first knock me down emotional experience I ever had with a patient. I had a man in his 40s who had a surgery because he had prostate cancer. And I started taking care of him after all of this had happened. And I took care of him for about 3 or 4 years. And one day I was in the office with him and he put his head down like I am right now. And he had a big afro, so I couldn't see anything. I just saw him put his head down. And he started talking. He said, "You know what?" He said, "I really appreciate you being my physician." But he said, if those doctors would have told me I would never be able to urinate again and I would never have sex with my wife again, I would rather have died with the cancer. As the tears were rolling out of his face. And so that's just one example, my brothers, of the many, many, many stories of men and women who absolutely regretted not making a change. And last story I'll say before you ask me or direct me somewhere else, my sister. When I first started my private practice, not my private, when I first finished my residency program and started being a physician without somebody overseeing me, It was July of 1999. And the first person, the first person that I had as a patient, I walked in the room, there was a little black lady, and everybody warned me. They said, that woman in there, not going to listen to nothing you say, and she going to tell you everything that you got to do. And I said, she got the wrong doctor today. So I went in there. There's a little black woman, very strong, very boisterous, very loud, but she had a scratchy voice because she'd been smoking cigarettes since she was like 10, 11, or 12 or something like that. But I sat down with her that day and I said, ma'am, I know everybody told me what you liked. I said, but I am not going to go out of this room without telling you about your smoking. She said, I don't give a damn what you say. I ain't going to stop smoking. I said, you going to stop smoking. You're not going to make me stop. So I said, I didn't say I was going to make you stop. So I said, but you going to stop smoking. Because if you keep smoking, something going to happen to you that's going to be so damn dramatic that you're going to stop smoking. I don't see that happening. And so, but what I did was I was making her understand that regardless of what somebody set up before I came in that room, I'm going to do my diligence. I'm not going to be intimidated out of doing my job. And my job is not based on no salary, not based on no label. My job is to care for you. So I'm going to tell you that I care for you enough to sit here and deal with all your madness, but tell you that cigarette is something you need to put out. Long story short, 12 years later, when I had left there and started my private practice, she came to see me one day. And she said, doc, we met the way we met. You were straight up. I was straight up. She said, you've always been straight up with me, so I don't want you to change that today. I said, man, you already know me better than that. And I didn't know what she was about to tell me, but she said, I want you to look at something and I want you to tell me the truth. I said, well, I am going to tell you the truth. And she pointed at her neck. And right here next to her Adam's apple was a little hard bump. And once I touched it and asked her to swallow and had her move her head a while just to make sure I could feel what it was, she looked at me, she said, what is it? And I always try to find a way to say my answer, even when it's bad news, in the most compassionate way that I can, because this medical system usually doesn't do that. Somebody will tell you, oh, you got cancer, I'm going to set you up with an oncologist. How could you be so cold? You wouldn't want anybody to be like that to you or your mama. So I was trying to figure out a way to tell her in a compassionate way. And she said these words. She said, is it what I think it is? And I said, yes, it is. And within 3 months, she was dead because she got to a place, this grew so fast that she couldn't even swallow her food. So I'm not saying this to wish anything bad on people, but my point is that every case of people that I have had, and I followed them for many years, and they did not change, those last few days, those last months, those last years are horrific. And nobody would wish it on nobody else. And I don't do that. That's not my typical reality, brothers and sisters. I'm just being honest with you today. I don't try to scare people. I don't try to guilt people into changing. It's a desire of yours, especially a man. I haven't talked very many men out of anything, but I've talked to a few women by giving them good information and knowledge and caring, and they change. But most men, we have to be beaten into shape or something horrible has to happen to us to change. And so I'm praying that these words that I'm sharing with you will allow you to think, contemplate, and want to do different, because there is no escaping the difficulty factor of not taking care of yourself. It won't happen.
Wow. You said a mouthful on so many different levels. I want to ask you a question. It seems to me as if, and I've actually seen this in writing, that now I don't remember where, I'm always reading new things, that amputation is now considered a form of treatment for diabetes. And I wanted to ask you why that is. I mean, I know why a person's limb, toe, foot, leg, or whatever might be amputated, but why is it considered a form of treatment as opposed to a last alternative?
Well, the way you described your son when we started this conversation, you talked about him being overwhelmed with work.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about him being stressed to a place where, you know, you didn't say this, but I am thinking about sometimes in my life and some people that I know that were in a mental state where they just didn't know how to even take the next step. And that is the world of medicine in 2025.
That it's so stressed that they don't know what the next step should
Know
be.
what to do. They don't have any answers, and they are not living the example for you. That's the reality of the medical system today. Why do you think doctors and dentists are the number one alcoholics? They're all the way up there at the top. Between them and airline pilots, those are the greatest alcoholics in this country. They just have the money to hide it, where most of our people don't have any way to hide it. The biggest cocaine users and people that get high are doctors and dentists. They're way up there at the top, way up there from on the careers where people are committing suicide. So you're going to people that don't even have the ability to change their own life, to make a difference in their own life. But at the end of the day, we have a system. Medicine is a system of business. It ain't about taking care of people. And as I said earlier, well, I didn't say it earlier. There are many, many, many people that I went to school with, many people that I've trained, many people that were in school that I knew that were in other places. I don't know any doctors that are really strong people that practice medicine with courage and valor, that would stand up for you as a patient. I don't know very many. I'm just being honest with you. And so if that is true, and it's true, because if 60% of the doctors in this country were thought like me and had my type of spirit, business wouldn't be running medicine. Your doctors follow protocols. Your doctors don't think through what to do with you. You walk in and they're thinking about how they took care of this patient and what they read and what am I going to do for this person. They following protocols.
Yes.
Diabetic comes in their office. When was your last way? What was your last eye exam? When the last time we checked your kidneys? When the last time somebody checked your foot? When somebody did this? When somebody did that? They follow protocols. They don't give a damn enough to sit in front of you and treat you like a person.
You know,
If
Brother
they were
Akili.
treating people like a person,
Mm-hmm.
an amputation would never be a choice. It would always be the last ditch effort to save somebody's life. But what I'm telling you is that it's a protocol today because they don't want to put in the time of talking to a hard-headed person. So you can't put all the responsibility on them. If anybody that is a diabetic gets to a place where they need an amputation, that person is not putting any effort to their own life. So we can sit and
Mm-hmm.
think that a doctor's a horrible person because they say, well, I'm going to amputate this. But what did you do to put yourself in that position to have that doctor to have to do that for you or to you? So I'm just
You
painting
know,
a picture of both sides, the brothers that are listening, because you do not have doctors that care most of the time. They're
mm,
just trying to get finished with your visit and go right in the chart, max it out so they make as much money with this little time they spent with you and write those prescriptions and get you out of their hair because
yes.
they can't fix their damn self. How are they going to fix you? Name me a dietitian that's made a diabetic better in any hospital around this country.
Mm,
People go in hospitals and they're eating the worst type of foods. They're eating the type of foods in the hospital that got you in the damn hospital. And dietitians look horrible. The doctors look as bad as you. Your doctors don't know how to solve their problem. I just told you my reality. I have no medical problems and don't plan on any coming anytime soon. So I do have a track record to help you understand that what I'm doing works. So if it's lack of trust because you don't trust the people that you go to the doctor, or to the clinics, or to the urgent care centers, whatever, well then change the people that you're going to for your care. But make sure you make up your mind that you're ready to work. And let me be clear as glass after Windex, brothers. I'm not asking you to be able to do everything that I do. I'm not asking anybody to go from 3, 4, or 5 meals a day to eat one meal every other day, like I said. So you have to start with one thing and work on that one thing. And then once you get that and you feel better, it'll inspire you. Let me pick up another one. It's a journey. Brother Achilles' journey to get better health and to be at the best health that he knows how to get has been a 20-year drudging, difficult journey. It just doesn't happen because you think it. But what I'm trying to do is inspire somebody, anybody, to say, you know what? I got to take control of this. And it's not going to be easy when you wake up in the morning because you say it tonight. There is a process that is occurring right now as you brothers and whoever's listening are listening. There's a process that is scientific that at 8 minutes and 20 seconds or 500 seconds, if you listen to somebody talk to you with truth, it will take that long to start raising your spirit, your countenance.
Your
You
tone
start
scale.
getting
Yes,
a
sir.
rise in energy and mental acuity and mental attention. And you'll start saying to yourself all these things. But when you wake your black behind up in the morning, I'm not going to be there next to your bed. So you're going to have to inspire yourself. But it's about thinking. You have to start thinking different. And we need all of you brothers that are listening tonight to be alive, not just now. We need to be alive for a long time. We got a lot of work to change the reality of black people in this country. And we see it happening over there in Africa. We see a lot of stuff happening over there. But what are we going to do? We got to do that here. So have some inspiration. You could be a better father, a better mentor, a better health example, a better financial example. We all need to be better by treating our wives better. Stop being so egotistical around our wives, taking everything personal, get angry when we don't get our way. We need to be selfless and try to make our wife smile. The minister said, and I'm going to finish with this one. The minister said that no man should try to evaluate what kind of a husband he is by what his homies say, what his friends, his partners. That ain't where you go. You as a man are evaluated by your wife and your children. If they don't smile, if they ain't giving you accolades, you got work to do, my brother. And I'm
Wow.
in your same boat.
You talked about your journey over 20 years and you mentioned the word drudgery. What was your greatest challenge along the way to you going from one state of health to another?
The nigga in me that wants to hold on to all the things that I like.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I heard
That's
you the
it.
first time, but say it again.
The nigga in me that wants to hold on to all the things that I like. That's what made my transition hard. It shouldn't have
Wow.
been, but I'm just being honest. It is difficult to give up things that you like, the things you've been doing all of your life, the things that you saw your mama and daddy do that you have emotional ties to. It was tough, but I refused to hold on to things that were in contradiction to what this man taught me in this book. How to Eat to
Yeah.
Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the book that changed everything that I was doing and everything that I thought. And for every person that may be on here that's not in the Nation of Islam, you're not a Muslim, please don't think that that's the only reason that you should read this book. Nobody I know, I'm just being honest, nobody that I know, nobody that I see on social media, nobody that I've read about in my medical scientific assessment and evaluation has a better program.
I'm
Nobody.
gonna I'm gonna read to you a comment from one of our viewers. Andrew Holly. He says it's interesting how during and within a doctor visit and post conference that they never discuss nutrition. They only talk about pills in the next visit, but never nutrition. And we were just discussing the issue of nutrition and how the messenger says it, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it like this: you will never, there is not a cure in any medicine that they give you, whether it's in one pill or a million pills. There's no cure taking medicine. The body is healed by nutrients, not by chemicals. It's not.
Well,
Look,
let
I
me tell
want
you
to
something. Let me
go
tell you
ahead.
something real quick. That person that you read the comment of has been my friend for 40 years. I met him when I was 18 and he was 19 or maybe 20. I don't remember if he's 1 or 2 years older than me, but our goal was to make a difference in the world. And we used to talk about it as young men, as teenagers going into manhood. And that man was by my side with everything that I did in Houston, growing my practice, building my practice, strengthening my practice, getting patients. He was there by my side and helped me grow my practice. And he also watched my transition from how I was trained in this medical system to helping him. And I know he wouldn't mind me saying this, but he lost his father. And when he was about to turn his father's age, he was going through it because he couldn't get it out of his mind what had happened to his father. But because of his will and his desire and his discipline to put his mind on a program, he saved his own life.
Yes.
He saved his own life from a heart that was going in the direction of his dad, and he saved himself from a prostate problem because he listened and changed his lifestyle. And that, what you just finished saying, is exactly the conversations that we used to have. And now he's telling people about how important nutrition is. So yeah, that's one of my closest friends on the planet Earth. That's one of the people that has never wavered, no matter what I was going through in my life, and no matter what he has gone through in his life. We've been there for each other. But that man has watched me before I became a doctor and since I've been a doctor, and he is one of my greatest testimonies of how he allowed me to help him, but he wanted it and he put the work in.
Yes, sir.
Great testimony himself. Thank you, Andrew, for watching the program, my brother.
For all of you who are listening and watching, I am so grateful to each and every one of you for giving us something that is not free, something that you have that is very valuable, and it's called your time. I pray a lot that this is just part one of this discussion called Dear Black Man. And this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I lost my father 2 years ago. And I have had patients that I had the hardest time trying to get them to change. They were the same ages as my children, and they like to play games with people. Well, maybe 14.5 is my norm for my A1C. No, that's not anybody's norm. But if you want me to have your family write that on your tombstone, I'll be more than happy to offer that as a suggestion. Because if you don't knock it off, no, I'm very serious. These are real conversations.
Yeah, I know.
These are real
I don't care how serious the conversation was, but when you say that's gonna put it on his tombstone, that's funny right there.
Look, I will make that as I will offer that as a suggestion to them. Brother Keely, a few years back, I know that I used to have to go to urgent care or ER because of a flare up of diverticulitis. And the only thing that they would do would give me antibiotics and then it'd just go away. But the last time that I went to the hospital for that, they tried to convince me that I had cancer. And Miss Muhammad, you must start chemotherapy immediately. I don't have cancer. And I'm not starting chemotherapy.
Hmm.
They pulled the race game, meaning that they got a black doctor to come and talk to me. Then they pulled the religious card. They had a Muslim doctor come and talk to me.
Wow.
I do not have cancer. Get away from me because I don't have cancer and I'm not going to undergo chemotherapy. And then I was very distraught because I kept asking, why does this flare up keep happening? I thought I was eating the right thing, right? But I didn't stress on that too much. And I know that I got up that next morning and told the nurse, tell the doctor that I'm leaving at 11 o'clock. My ride is going to be here at 11, but you haven't been discharged yet. I don't need your permission to leave. I'll take care of this medical condition myself. And as it turned out, I didn't have cancer. But just suppose, I had listened to them and panicked and started chemotherapy and put poison in my body when I didn't have it.
Well, let me
Many
tell
of
you a quick
us,
story.
wait a minute, hold up.
Okay, my bad.
I started studying nutrition more closely on my own. And those tears and pockets that they saw in my colon, because I started and I studied myself, I studied nutrition on my own. The lining in my colon is repairing itself.
Absolutely.
It's repairing itself. And it's not that I wasn't eating healthy. I just made a conscious decision in my head that I'm not going through this. I'm not going to the hospital no more, and I'm not suffering from this again. So sometimes it's not so much so of what you're eating, is what you're making yourself believe.
That's facts.
It's what you're making yourself believe. And I have not had a flare up since then, and that's been what, 2 years now.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What are the two fastest healing places on your body?
I have no idea.
You've cut your finger before, paper cut, maybe burned your neck with the curling iron or something like that, right?
Right.
A lot of times, a week or two later, we don't even remember where the scar is.
Yeah, you got to hunt for
You
it.
you bite your cheek when you're eating, bite your tongue, scrape yourself with a nut or a potato chip. A couple of days later, don't even remember where it is.
So it would be the epithelial cells, the tissue.
The skin and the mouth heal so quickly. That's proof that the body can heal.
Yes.
But people will literally not give us, not support the idea that we can heal. And the only point that I'm getting to is that if you put your hand in your mouth and you feel where you bit yourself a couple of weeks ago and you can't even tell where it is, the whole GI system heals that way. The whole GI system heals that fast. So I'm just supporting what you're saying, that you made up your mind that I'm going to do what it takes to heal me, and it will heal just as fast as the cuts and the things, the burns that you get in your mouth, just like it will heal just like a paper cut or anything else. You scrape yourself, scratch yourself. We scrape ourselves sometimes when we're shaving. A couple days later, a few days later, we don't even remember where we cut ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Second thing, I have had a patient who had a double mastectomy, so-called had breast and both cancers, and when they took it to the lab and did the pathology exam, there was no cancer in this woman.
Oh my
They
goodness.
took her breast off. She had a breast reconstruction, so they took tissue from her thighs and her buttocks and made man-made breast. And now this woman has to walk around for the rest of her life, however long she lives, with these restructured breasts, and she never had cancer. So I'm just showing that we have a very imperfect medical system, far from perfect. But the lack of care and concern and putting money first has a lot of people winding up like that. And so the last thing I'll say, my sister, because I know it's time to go,
It is.
is brothers, please look at what's down at the bottom. Mining my mind. That's all it's going to take for us to make a difference. A made up mind, you will be a different brother. So, I have many videos that you can go check out, the Ultimate Wellness Group on YouTube. But more importantly, I want every brother, if you will, is just to think about one, two, or three things that you already know you need to change or that you need to do better, and just work on those things from now until the end of July. And just be serious about it. I ain't saying if you haven't exercised in 20 years to go join a gym and then get in there and start getting egotistical and looking at what some other people are doing, try to do it, hurt yourself, and then go right back to the couch. No, just make up your mind that I'm going to do a squat, one squat, and stay down with your butt as close to the ground as you can, feet flat, 10 seconds. Do 10 seconds 3 or 4 times a day. Next week, take it up to 15 seconds or 20 seconds. Start real small. If you have a pull-up bar, go to your pull-up bar and don't try to do pull-ups or chin-ups. Just grab the bar and hold it until your arms get tight, and then let go. Count it. Do that every day for 2 weeks. Just little stuff. If you know you need to drink more water, just drink a little more water every day and see what little things will do. Now, why am I saying that? Because the things that I just finished saying are easy to do. You got a tree outside, you can grab the branch and hang on it. Got a door jamb that's thick enough, grab it, hold on to it. I don't know, whatever. But my point is, just start small, because I don't know a man, not one, because they know I'm in the healthcare field, that don't talk to me about their health. Everybody knows I need to be doing something different. So just try something, brothers, because if you just try a little bit and you see the type of benefits that you'll get by just doing a little bit, that will inspire you to keep going, do more, be better. By the end of the year, you'll be a different man.
And go into 2026 thinking with greater clarity, because your health status has actually changed.
Absolutely.
So thank you all. So thank you, Dr. Akili, for
Thank you,
being on the platform.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. Thank you to all of those who listened and tuned in. Really, really appreciate you. Please make a donation if you possibly can to Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. We really appreciate you. This is a self-subsisting network. And, I love y'all, and I thank you so much. And tune in next week, because Mine in My Mind is every Tuesday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And if Dr. Akili has the time, we're going to talk about part 2 of Dear Black Man. Thank you all so much for your time, your patience, and your love. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you, Brother Akili.
My pleasure, my sister.
Woo.